Welcome to International Film Festival Etiuda&Anima. My name is Paulina Pikiewicz and I will be moderator of this panel. Our guests are Youmi Haefelin and Youmi. These are creators of movie Trumpet, and Kevin is a director and Youmi is a producer. Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Hello. First of all, I would like to ask you about the main character in your movie, because Trumpet tells a story about Jockey, the main character, a Japanese trumpet player who decides to visit United States, New York, probably to find to find his opportunity to be a better player or something like that. And I was wondering, because you are himself a director who came from Switzerland to USA, and you create a movie about Japanese trumpet player, and I was wondering, why have you decided to create such character?
You mean the character coming from Japan, or the
Yes.
character in general?
The character coming from Japan when you are a Swiss director in New York.
Yeah. So basically, when I created the character first, I based the character on my own experience. That's true, from as a foreigner discovering New York for the first time, and I tried to capture kind of felt as a foreigner discovering New York. And then I wanted to have why Japan, because I wanted to have a country that is far enough from the US culturally, but also very close, because there is a huge jazz scene in Japan, and there is a lot of Japanese trumpet players and jazz players who also reproduce jazz in Japan. And I was thinking, what if I create a character that comes from Japan, who doesn't speak English, but who speaks through jazz, and jazz doesn't have a language? And what if this person ends up in the US with a cultural shock to find what he's dreaming of, fantasizing of in Japan? And I thought that Japan was the perfect place, because it's far enough culturally and with distance, and the language is also very different than English.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. So could you tell us something about this process of casting? How did you find your perfect jockey?
So Youmi and I we actually worked on another movie before with an actor who was playing a musician. And this time we wanted to do the other way around. We wanted to find like a real musician to act. And so Mao Sone, who plays the lead in Trumpet, basically never acted before. It's his first time in cinema. And we wanted like a person from Japan. And so we used Google, and we Googled Japanese jazz trumpet players, just simply. And we found a couple of people. And what struck us was a video on YouTube that Mao was doing. So he graduated from Berklee College of Music in the US, so he already had an experience in America, and he basically was addressing to, it was his thesis. It's a video of him talking about his thesis, which was him using jazz and Japanese traditional music together. And we thought it was really interesting because it mingled both cultures. And we're like, this guy is really interesting. And the way he addressed to the audience as he was talking about his craft and his music was very interesting. And we were like, let's meet him. So we did some Skype meetings together, and he liked the project, and he was like, well, let's try it. I never acted in my life, but let's try it. So we started to work remotely, and a week before shooting, he flew from Tokyo to New York, and we started to do some rehearsal, and then the week later we shot.
Wow, that's surprising, because he felt really natural in front of camera.
Yes,
so yeah.
that's that. The good thing he wasn't an actor, so he didn't have anything to lose really, or he was just like being himself. But what I did was once I met him, I did a few, I really met him through Skype. We got to know each other, and I got to also know about his music and his personality and everything. And I kind of rewrote the character based on him. So of course, when I wrote the first story, I kind of imagined the character in my head based on my own experience. But then when you have a real human being, you kind of want to shape it to tailor it to this person, and that's what I did with Mao. So that I didn't want to have him play something that didn't come from him.
Okay. So now it's clear this last scene in your movie when we can see the main character as he playing after this rough night for him. He plays on his trumpet, and suddenly a lot of people surrounds him, recording on him on their phones, mobile phones. And right now I can see it clearly. That this is connected to also main character's biography. But and I wanted to ask you about this last scene because I'm wondering what is. Could you explain what does it mean? What will be for the main character after? What does it mean that these people just record him as he is playing? Will he be famous after that? This is his American dream.
Well, that's open for interpretation. I think that's also what we wanted to do with this film, is not to be. We wanted the audience to interpret. I mean, what's his dream? The only thing that I can say is that he found jazz, but not where he was expecting to find it. He didn't find it in the jazz clubs. He didn't find it in Manhattan. He found it in the street among the people.
Okay. As we can read in your statement to this movie, we can recognize United States as a land of opportunity, where dreams come true. And would you agree with that statement after this time you came from Switzerland? And maybe that's also a good question to Youmi. Could you tell us how you perceive United States right now?
Well, the United States is a country with a lot of contrast, and from city to city and from county to county, it just is a different, it's such a vast country. You can't really sum it to the American dream into one place and what you can find and not find. Everything, I think the charm here is that everything can happen so fast. The reminiscence of the American dream is still here, but it's kind of a bittersweet feeling. And as for us personally, we're very happy with our American experience, and we still don't know if we're staying or leaving, and it's exciting, really.
What about you? What
Well,
about you, Kevin?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more complicated than this. I don't think the movie is about the American dream, but it's about, all those people from different culture who can come in this one place and make it happen for themselves. Like you can see this guy coming from Japan, and then he's meeting this family from Mexico, and and all those people, and that's what the beauty of it is. Basically, all those culture coming from elsewhere that kind of mingle and are able to work in their communities in this country. And I think that's what I wanted to show with this movie. It's not a movie that displays, oh, this is the American dream. It's not a movie about the American dream. It's a movie about multicultural people with different language that can speak only one language, which is music. They can understand each other through music.
Yeah, it is visible in your movie. I would say that, and this is funny that we can see how Chucky arrives to United States, to New York, and first person who he meets is a taxi driver, and he also is an immigrant. And
Immigrant,
later,
yeah.
and later he will Chucky will meet another immigrant from other countries. So he is not able to actually meet people who were born in United States. I mean, people who are native in the United
Everyone,
States.
everyone are immigrants in this country except the Native Americans. You know, so it's that's just the way it is. It's a nation of immigrants.
Okay. Could you tell us a little bit about how did you work together? I mean, producer and director in this movie. What was your maybe main problem when it comes to maybe finding money to produce that movie?
Okay, well, I'll start. So I've been working with alongside Kevin for a couple of years now, and I think that in terms of money, it was really, we didn't really give it much thought because it was something that he did for his studies. And we just started with a very, very small budget. And as we went and we put the film in a can, we were like, okay, now we need to find more money for post-production. And as we went, we kind of built the project. It wasn't something that we thought of early in advance of how we were going to finish this. It was really like as we go kind of thing.
Yeah, since we didn't know, I mean, we just like work on. We didn't have so it was our personal funds to shoot it. So we shot it with very, very ultra limited budget, like would say almost no budget. And the
No
idea,
budget.
yeah, the idea was to put it like to have it in the can, to have it shot. So if we're able to have it shot, then maybe we can like edit something and try to find interest foundation or interest people who would like to put some money to help us finish it the way we intended to finish it, which is with original music, with this layer of sound that is created from scratch, and those colors that we also created later. So we're like, let's take a bet. Let's shoot it, because that's what, you know, that's the big sprint is really to shoot it, and then you have more time to edit it and then show it. And the bet worked because that's how we were able to finish it. So from a final cut, we were able to get some fundings from a foundation in Switzerland who gave us the money needed to complete the post-production.
And we also had Mao compose all the original music, which was really a great added value. And we were really able to build this long-lasting relationship, which is so meaningful to us too.
Exactly. Mao, who plays the lead, also composed the music from scratch, just for the film.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your answers. And maybe last question. Do you play on some instruments, both of you?
No, no, I don't. It's funny because I love filming musicians. I really, really enjoy filming Mao. But no, I'm not a musician myself. Youmi, I know, plays a little bit piano, but I'm not a musician myself.
Okay.
I wouldn't
Yumi?
call myself a musician either. I wouldn't call myself. I mean,
She's modest.
I used to play, but I don't actively play today.
Maybe in the future you will portray Yumi, and maybe you will create a movie about her playing by the piano.
Maybe so.
Okay, thank
I
you.
don't think so.
Okay, thank you for our conversation. We were glad that you are here on our festival. Trumpet by Kevin Haefelin and Youmi, producer of this movie. Thank you for this time here.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.